Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Elevate Business Challenge. Here with me today, I have Michael Casey, co-owner, of Finbars, and he was nominated by Matt Sims, serial entrepreneur and co-owner of Simplicity Designs. Wanting to send regrets to Mary Helen Ryder, my co-presenter and co-project partner here. She had an appointment today, so she couldn't make it. So wishing Marie well today. Thanks for joining me, Michael, and really excited to hear more about Finbars.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure. So tell us about Finbars and, what is it all about? People that haven't had the opportunity to taste the great food.
Yeah, Finbars Irish Pub. We have 2 locations, one in Bedford, Nova Scotia, one in Portland Hills, Nova Scotia. My wife and I we bought an existing operation in 2004 and grew it organically, experienced some challenges and overcame them successfully. In 2013, we opened our second location, new challenges, new everything. In November of 2019, we sold that location actually. So we know that place operates under a licensing agreement, still Finbars. We're still involved in some aspects of the business, but no longer operationally. Yeah, and Finbars Irish Pub is it's a cozy, dark but not dingy little neighborhood pub with warm and friendly service and delicious food and drinks.
Fantastic. And so do you have a Facebook page or Facebook presence?
We do.
Or Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn? How could we find you guys online?
Finbars into Google, and you will find all of our stuff. We are search engine optimized.
So tell us a little bit about your adventures of COVID. So from the initial impact all the way up to now.
Well, so I'll speak for our Bedford location. That's where that's where I'm the boss. Well, we had, where do I begin? I guess really we begin on March the 13th, I think, when it's really started to smell like something was happening. March 17th, for those of you not in the Irish pub business, is St. Patrick's Day, and a significant annual milestone for anybody in our business. So on the 13th and the 14th, I was on the phone with other local operators, and we were all certain that we were going to have a big St. Patrick's Day, and then we would recalibrate after that. By the 15th, we had all decided, no way, it's not going forward. Those 48 hours, I've never experienced anything quite like it, where it just went from like, what are you, crazy, to, oh my gosh, this is really happening. And yeah, by the 17th, we actually closed on the 17th. Instead of having our busiest day of the year, we had just a few diehards in here sort of saying goodbye to one another before the province shut down. So we closed for a couple of weeks completely, laid all the staff off. We weren't really sure how we were going to approach the break or how long it was going to take. Nobody did. And anyway, a couple of weeks in, after some more announcements from the federal and provincial governments about regulation changes and restrictions, and once those things sort of became more clear, we decided to open for curbside pickup. And that was pretty fun, actually. It was fun to start to sort of start a new business from scratch. We really changed all kinds of stuff operationally. Set the restaurant up like a call center inside, and reintroduced menu items as we figured out how much our kitchen capacity could handle and how much demand it took. So for 6 or 8 weeks or however long it was challenging and fun. Trying to figure out how to do things safely and how to really be a different business altogether. By the end of it, I was tired of it, and I just wanted to be a regular pub again. and sales were they were great at first, sort of plateaued quickly and then we realized very quickly that takeout, certainly in our location, was not a viable business model in the long run. Yeah. So we were happy when the provincial government officially lifted restrictions, and we were allowed to open even at 50% capacity. We were very fortunate in our case that if you include our patio seating, we were in some ways, I guess, fortunate to have this happen in the summertime. If you include our patio seating, 50% capacity with our patio is essentially our typical capacity the other 8 months of the year.
Okay.
So we're very lucky too that we really don't feel like we're suffering from the other factors that a lot of similar businesses are. We don't have television, so sports are not an issue. Our scale is pretty small, so our big groups are not really our gig. Tourism, we're a local place. We experience very little tourism, so yeah, we were well positioned to re-enter the world, even at capacity and wearing masks and all that weird stuff.
Yeah, it's a different world right now, isn't it? For sure. Thank you so much for sharing, the discovery and the curiosity that you had within your journey. It's no small feat in the sense of switching a business model, especially when it's public facing. I can only imagine that there was impacts around supply chain and, the financial pieces of things. And then of course, how are we going to make sure that the public experience is still there, but it's safe, and we're making sure people aren't fearful of buying or taking takeout from us at this point in time. So all of those things are huge, I feel, feats, that the public are definitely grateful for, to still enjoy your food. I know I went through the process once myself for pickup, and it was fantastic. So
thank you.
The food still tasted just as wonderful as it did. I really enjoy the ambiance of the patios at Finbars in Bedford. So, it was kind of nostalgic, kind of driving by.
We really found in the first few weeks, there was a real sense, like when we came out with the bag to put it on the table and walk away, that there was a real a desire for some kind of sense of familiarity and normalcy. That people were very excited just to see another human being, and it was quite gratifying, actually.
Yeah. And so, what would you say is your biggest learning from all of this as an entrepreneur / business owner?
Well, I consumed an enormous volume of business and self-improvement books over this time. Yeah, I got pretty heavy into audio books. And to quote Jim Collins from his seminal work, Good to Great, my biggest thing I took out of this was the who first rule. The who first rule, meaning that the people that you employ, the people that we have around us, if you have the right people, then it almost doesn't matter what business you're in or what you're trying to do. And we really found that our key people responded so well to this, and I never felt alone, or that our people weren't up for this or any of that stuff. They answered the call big time.
That's fantastic, and I think insightful information to hear, I'm sure. So what do you see as for your business needs coming up over the next 6 to 12 months? Because now in the news, we're starting to talk about the potential second wave.
I don't know, man. I'm not really worried about it. Yeah, I don't know. My experience of trying to foresee what direction government regulations and restrictions are going to go, and at what pace. I'm sure there's a little value in preparation, but I think there's more value in just being ready to do the next thing that comes up. So we're fortunate. We're back on our feet here. I mean, we're probably good to go. We're till the end of patio season at least, which is the end of September. Who knows where we'll be by then? I mean, everything could be the same or it could all be different. I don't know. But for the next couple of months, we're just gonna kind of do what we do. I'm not really worried about promotion or any of that stuff. At our current capacity limitations, we honestly couldn't be a whole lot busier anyway. I mean, our peak periods are already at capacity considering we're cut to 50%. So yeah, we're just gonna try to keep it cool for the next couple of months and see what the winter looks like.
Fantastic. And so when it comes to your team members, how do you see culture shifting within Finbars?
I don't see it shifting much. Honestly, if anything, I feel validated that our culture was strong to begin with. And it still is in all the same ways that it was before. So like I said, the way that people have responded, I mean, we're asking them to do all kinds of stuff that like nobody wants to do. I mean, waiting tables in a mask, cooking food with a face shield on and having to like not bump into anybody and stay within the tape lines and all that stuff. But this stuff is a real pain it's a pain. And yeah. I have yet to hear a single complaint from anybody. Everybody knows I think I've been pretty, I think our corporate communications have been fairly effective. We have a great internal communication system, so nothing's catching anybody by surprise. When everybody was called back to work, certainly they knew what they were getting into, and we experienced a tiny bit of turnover we actually did a small battery of hiring right before the shutdown, and not everybody from that round is still with us, but our senior people have been bulletproof. Just incredible.
Fantastic. It's wonderful to hear that you have, it sounds like an A team, and the culture is extremely strong to endure something like this pandemic in that we haven't seen before. So that's awesome. Kudos to you. And I can't even imagine, Michael, in the sense of, on top of everything else that you have to do on a daily basis, also remembering, 6 feet every single time you move, especially within closer quarters when you're, cooking or prepping or, dealing with, disregard of food and all of those processes that, have all been kind of second nature up until now. So it's definitely an interesting time, but it seems like you guys are pros at that. So it's a non-issue, but it's interesting to hear from the other side in the sense of, what it looks like within organizations now, because not everybody can see behind the scenes. So I know I can only speak for myself. I'm really grateful to hear, the depths of, safety protocols that Finbars is taking for the public. And that just speaks to the brand that Finbars has and has had for quite some time.
Yeah, thanks. We have some vulnerable people, within the organization as well. And when there's really somebody you have to worry about, it's not as hard to remember as you might think. See, we look at that as positive because it's forced us to err on the side of caution, and it's very easy, no new cases, blah blah blah. But it'd be pretty easy to relax things if you didn't have somebody or a couple people who are you really had to have legitimate concern for. Which would be.
Yeah, level of empathy is there. I'm sorry, say that again.
I also just keep telling you.
There's the top of mind, of course. And there's no harm in that, especially, when we're dealing with something as big as this. So to your point, I think kudos. Erring on the side of caution is really key, especially in the restaurant industry. Well, that's it for all the questions that I have today. Really want to thank you for your time, Michael, in joining us for Elevate Business Challenge. And thank you so much for the audience out there that has been watching us, from the get-go. We look forward to chatting with you next week. Be well and stay safe. Bye for
Thank
now.
you.